Hello there. My name is Elizabeth Pampalone, and I don't come in this group very much. I kind of poke around and watch you guys chat about stuff, sometimes answer questions. But I have been looking at some stuff recently, and I've been meaning to share this with you guys. I have been sharing this with everybody. I've been in like 4 groups sharing this already. And it's just a passion of mine, and it's nothing that I'm selling. It's nothing that I'm making any money off of. I just am passionate about people learning about this. So a couple of months ago, I read a book in our business owner book club called Profit First. Have you read it? If you have read it, please drop a note in the comments letting me know you have, because it is amazing. If you have not read it, please drop a note in the comments, because I'd like to send you the link to it, because it's $16 and it's going to change your life. I actually implemented it the first week that I read it, and I started about halfway through. I just started implementing it. I hadn't even read the whole book yet. And if you have read it and you're not implementing it, I'd like to know why. I think it's really interesting. People that read this book and then don't do anything about it, don't do anything with it. It's really intriguing to me that it's a very powerful method, and it just really is intriguing. So if you have read it and not implemented it, let me know. If you have not read it, let me know as well, and I'll send you the link. So I implemented this about 3 months ago, and I've had my business for about 13 years. I am a website designer. I use Squarespace exclusively. I used to use WordPress exclusively, and I switched my business model about 3 years ago to exclusively Squarespace, and I love it. But I've been in business for 13 years doing the same thing. And I recently, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I got to over 6 figures, and I've stayed there pretty much, grown a little bit each year, but just kind of stayed in the same area. And I've always been a bank balance budgeter, which means that I look at my bank balance. Can we afford this? Can we afford this new, hire? Can we afford this new equipment? Equipment, by that I mean like software. Can we afford these themes? Can we afford these plugins? Can we afford this person to contract? Can we afford an intern? Whatever that is, new computers, can we afford it? Look at the bank balance. Yes, no, end of story. And sometimes putting things on credit because we can't and we need it, like right now, because something breaks and my Apple screen on my computer, I have an Apple, I have a MacBook Pro, and my screen completely lost it this summer, like lost it. And this was before I read the book. And I had to take it to the Apple store, and thankfully it was covered. It was free. I was so excited. But had I not done that, it would have been about $500 that I didn't have. So this book, I read it, and I got halfway through and started implementing it. Then I read the rest of the book and had to fix my implementation because I was too impatient. But I want to show you some things in this book that will maybe make you want to buy it and read it. And it's a $16 book. It's very, very cheap. It's about 200 pages. It's not too thin. But let me show you a couple things that really kind of hit me over the head with, kind of craziness. And I was like, oh my gosh, why did I not know this stuff before? So the first thing is this chart he has in here called the survival trap, which I feel like I was in for several years. And it was things like taking unfit projects to cover payroll or, cover some expense. It was taking on troublesome clients because I needed cash flow to come in. Offering a new product because I needed quick cash flow, an influx of cash. I did that a lot. Hire an expert to instantly expand your offering. Like, oh, now we offer SEO. We have this person, they do SEO or something like that. And then running last minute promotions to get quick cash. You did that a lot too. And then doing the work yourself and not hiring someone when you maybe needed to because you were the only one who could do it and it just saved you money. But maybe then it made you overworked and really you weren't working on the business, you were working in the business. So, and then changing your terms and conditions, and making collection calls, asking for retainers, anything to speed up your cash flow. So those are kind of what they call the survival trap. And I was in that for probably about 13 years. And And it was daunting. I mean, it was every month there was something new that was going wrong, something new that was breaking, something new that was needed cash. And it just, no one teaches you cash flow management unless you've been through and you've owned a business previously, or you've been through some kind of MBA program. And the cash flow management that's taught by accountants is, what do you bring in, take off your expenses, then pay your taxes, and whatever's left over, you can have. And usually there's nothing left over, or there's very little left over. So this book just kind of flips all that script and asks you to take your profit first. And you might think, well, my profit, like, I need that money. Why would I put it in that profit? I mean, I would use that profit for myself or use that profit for the business and put it back in the business. And that's actually a bad cycle to get into, because your business will always use more money. It's kind of like if you feed your dog and then you feed your dog again and you feed he will always eat more. Dogs don't usually refuse food. And your business will never refuse cash. So the more cash you feed your business, the more cash it's going to need. And so this book kind of flips that and says, okay, you should take profit off the top. He suggests about 10% as an ideal number. That's a lot. I mean, if you're making $100,000, $200,000, $1 million, I mean, you're putting aside a lot. He also has a chart in here that discusses how to find those numbers for yourself, which is really handy. This is a great audiobook, by the way. If you haven't read it, I would definitely recommend the audiobook, and it's amazing. He actually reads the audiobook himself. One of the things about this is it's not an accounting system. And that's one of the things I loved about it, is because I hate accounting, I hate numbers, I have a bookkeeper for that. I don't want to do that on my free time, you know. But this is not about getting bogged down into every single cent has to be accounted for. That's what the accountant is for. And this is more, let's get some round numbers in there. Let's account for your money that's coming in and going out, but let's not worry about getting it perfect every single time. You know, if your percentage is 10%, and it equates to $67.28, move over $67. I mean, you know, allocate $67. It's not going to ruin your whole thing because that 28 cents is not accounted for, and it could be moved somewhere else. But what he's saying is, you just want to start with something. You don't want to get bogged down so that perfection kind of ruins it for you and doesn't let you move forward. And one of the other things he talks about in here is the calculations of how to actually be profitable on day one, which a lot of things it takes time to build up to, and you don't have the time. You know, you think, okay, it's going to take me a while to get there. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to put into it, and it's just going to take a lot of my life, and I need to work my business, and I'm busy and whatever. So he talks about some percentages of day 0, how you adjust, and what he calls day 1, which would be your next day. So let's say, for example, you have 0 profit. You're not calculating your profit in any way. It's 0%. And then your owner's compensation is about 17% of your entire income. So let's say it's $100,000, it's $17,000 for the year. First of all, you're not paying yourself enough. You should be paying yourself about 50% if you're at the $100,000 level. And imagine that, if you could take 50% of the money that comes into you and know that it was your actual pay. But anyway, let's say you're getting about 17% of your profit, or I mean of your owner's compensation for your 100,000. We'll just use numbers like that to make it easy. And then your taxes are about 5% of your income. So about $5,000. That's probably about right for a $100,000 company, especially with expenses calculated in. That's what I've seen in the past with myself and my clients. So we have 0 profit, because we're not calculating that right now. 17% for owners, which means you get $17,000 a year paid to you, whether it's distributions or it's payroll. 5% for taxes, which is about $5,000. And then your operating expenses is what's left. And if you've been following this, your operating expenses would be $78,000. $78,000. 78% of your, let's say those are your numbers. Oh my gosh. You're paying out $78,000 to make your product, and you're only taking in $17,000 for yourself. That's a little lopsided. So we can fix this. This is easily fixable. So let's adjust these numbers just a little bit. And for day 1, so today those are your numbers, and tomorrow your numbers are going to be a little different. you're going to get 1% of profit. You're going to take 1% of your income and you're going to put it towards profit. For $100,000, it's only $1,000, or for $100,000, yeah, that's only $1,000. So you just got teeny little bit, I'm sorry, not $1,000, $100. So you got a teeny little bit that you're taking out, just a little bit. So you get 1% off the top, going to, actually it is $1,000. It's too late for me to do math. So you get 1% off the top, it's done, profit, you can't touch it. Your new owner's compensation should be added to by 1%. So now instead of making $17,000, you're making $18,000. Congratulations, you got a raise. And then you're going to put $6,000 in your taxes instead of $5,000 in your taxes. So that just gets a little bump as well. Now, the operating expenses. Where did all that extra money come from, right? Those $3,000 that you just allocated around, they came from your budget, from your operating expenses budget. You should be cutting that thing. That thing should be lean and mean. It is $78,000 right now. We're going to bring it down to 75 because that's not even enough to cut, but we're starting small. You have to start somewhere. And if you can do this every quarter and go into your operating expenses and start to cut 3%, reallocate it. Cut 3%, reallocate it. Not every month, not every week, every quarter. Give yourself the time to adjust yourself to get to the ideal percentages. That's the other thing about the system is that you're not doing it day one and just like, okay, now I have to do all these things and limit my expenses and, you know, I don't know where this money's coming from and I'm moving it here and moving it there. He starts you slow and controlled so that you can look at everything and know why you're doing it and watch everything as it comes in and goes out. So this is on page 95 of his book. So if you get his book or you have his book on your nightstand, a lot of people do. This is page 95 and I've tagged it for my client because I'm like, this is so important. Now, I'm almost done with this video because it's going on really long. I'm sorry. I hope you're getting something out of this. If you're getting something out of this, put something in the comments because this is like my favorite thing in the world. And like I said, I'm not making any money on this. I didn't write this book. I am just super passionate about it. So I'm actually going to put a link and a little bit of my story in the comments. That way you guys can see it. And then there's a link to the book, the audio version and the hardcover. Because the audio version is awesome if you didn't hear me say that. So in the back of this book, there's something called the Quick Start Guide. It is literally one page. It is not 2 pages. It is not a page and a back. It is literally just this page right here. Just this page. And it starts with your one-time setup, how you set up your accounts, your everyday, what you do every day to keep this going, what you do every month to keep this going, what you do every quarter, which remember we talked about that, and what you do every year. And it's all on one page. So the system is so simple that you can even do this in just a few steps. There's 3 steps in almost every single one of these options. And then he gives you this chart so that you can actually do your assessment, which is super awesome. So you need to definitely buy this book, get this book on audio, and start doing this. Now, inside the book, he talks about how you get your allocations and how you get your target percentages and how you get your current percentages, because sometimes we don't calculate them properly when we're just doing it in our head. And he has certain ways of doing that. So there's a couple of pages in here that talk about how you get those numbers. When I was doing it, I just made a little Excel spreadsheet and put in the numbers. He says, take this and multiply it by that. And that's how you get the number. And I was like, okay. So I put it in. I put it in Excel and it does it for me. So I just put the numbers in and it does all the calculations for me. And then he asked you to open like 5 bank accounts. That was a little much for me. I was like, okay, bro, I don't know if I can do that. This is a little bit insane. I can't even barely manage the bank accounts I do have. So, and I'm not big on like having so much for my accountant to do that reconciling so many accounts. It would be crazy. So what I did was I actually follow Amber Duggar, and she has a great system. She has a whole course actually, which I did not take, but she has a whole course and she's actually sanctioned by him. She's like his protege. And they work closely together, and her course allows you to do it using third-party software without having multiple bank accounts. But it's really easy to steal from yourself. And so it's hard if you're not very disciplined or if you know you're bad with money. Like, I know I'm sort of bad with money, but I'm not bad enough to kind of sabotage myself. So you have to know yourself, that's for sure. And then if you are really bad with money or you just like really know that the temptation would be too much, do the 5 bank accounts because you're just going to have to. But if you think you might be able to do it, try it with a third-party software. I still have one bank account for my business, one checking, one savings, just normal bank account. And then I have my personal accounts, you know, checking, savings, etc. And this allows me to use his system and use the third-party software so that I'm not constantly going to the bank and constantly, you know, doing everything with multiple bank accounts. So anyway, I hope if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Like I said, I'm not trying to sell you anything. This book is just amazing, and I want to share it with everyone that I can who has a business. And as people who work with Squarespace or use Squarespace, you're probably using one of the best, most inexpensive for what you're getting platforms out there. So congratulations. I actually use this to run my business. I use Squarespace as my business, and I make websites for people. But if you're using it to do any other kind of business, even if you're selling things, you have a brick and mortar, you are doing business for other people, you have a membership site, whatever it is, this book will help you. It even works with people who are using mostly subcontractors, construction, any kind of industry can use this book. It's kind of insane. And so I hope that it will help you and make you profitable. And if you implement this, I would love to hear from you about it, because like I said, I am kind of on this mission to just tell everybody about this. I had a client come to me and say, I want to work with you. I want to build a membership site. And I was telling her how much it costs and how it would work. And she said, oh, I can't afford you right now. And I said, why not? What's going on? And she goes, well, I just need to move money around, and I have to do this, and I have to do this. And, you know, we have to get some more money into our classes. And she started telling me all these things. And I said, well, have you ever read Profit First? And she was like, no. And I started describing it to her. And she was like, oh my gosh, if I did that, I probably would have money for you like today. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, well, let's do it. So I'm helping her on Tuesday implement this so that she can find them, because there's money. I mean, like, the one thing he talks about is you can find money anywhere in your business, like find money, which I think is so awesome. And there's money in your business, you just don't know it. And so if there's something you really need, like she really wants to do this membership site, and I'm like, girl, this is going to be really good for your business. Like I think it's going to blow up her business, because she has so many people that would be so interested in this, and they're already like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So I'm hoping that we can find enough money for her to do this and increase her business even more. But anyway, I hope that you'll look at this book and you'll take a look at it and see if it'll help you. And if you don't implement it, I'd love to know why. It's just kind of a thing for me. It's very interesting that I find people that read this book and they say, well, I don't know. And they usually just have questions. And sometimes those questions are very easily answered. But anyway, I would love to hear from you about it. My name is Elizabeth Pampalone, and the book is Profit First. No, I didn't write it. Mike Michalowicz did. And yeah, I just want to share it with you guys because I think it's awesome. So I will talk to you guys soon, and comment and let me know how it goes.